Okay, guys, today we're going to discuss grommets. We're going to discuss how to properly use them, why they might not be working for you, and the difference between some grommets and the way that they set and others. So let's get to it. So a lot of people get irritated because their grommets are not working right. A lot of times that is because it's not being set properly with the proper tools. Not all grommets are going to work with every tool, and not every tool is going to work with every grommet. All grommets, a lot of grommets are made differently based on the tool that you are going to use. These grommets look very different. So does this itty bitty one. So these grommets come with washers. That's what these little rings are called. The washers are just reinforcements to help them stay in your projects. You don't always have to use the washer, but it is there to help reinforce your grommet. So you have different tools that you can use to set your grommet. You can either use tools that require a hammer, or you can use tools that require, like, using your hands to press down like pliers, or you can use a crocodile. And crocodiles also do not work with every grommet. So it's important to understand what you're using and what tool you're using, and if it's compatible with your grommet. Most grommets that you buy will come with a setting tool, if it is not a standard setting tool that sets a grommet. A standard setting tool would be like grommet pliers, things like that. In a crocodile, you cannot use these in a crocodile. So if you look at this neck of this grommet, which is so here's the front of the grommet, and then you have the neck, which is the tube that comes up from it. And if you look at the very edge of this neck, it is just slightly rolled forward, just slightly, but there's no teeth in it. And what I mean by teeth is, if you look at this one, there's teeth in it. On the neck, at the very tippy top of the neck, right there and right there, you can see those little slits at the very top. Those are little teeth in your grommet. And the reason those are there is to help it split better when you apply pressure to it. And so your grommet will end up curling over onto its washer and being stuck where you want it to be. Now, I know a lot of you have crocodiles and you use them all the time for everything, and that is awesome. Not everybody has a crocodile, especially since they stopped making them. So I do have a crocodile. I know how it works. I haven't played with it much yet. I just got it. But anyways, you have different size grommets and different size holes that you can make for your grommet. And a lot of people have these hole punchers that you can use to punch the holes into your cardstock, because using regular hole punches is not going to work with this. So we're going to punch a hole real quick, and I'm going to show you a trick. So after you have punched your hole in your project, you're going to turn this around. So this, let's say this is the cover of your project, and you've just punched your hole from here, and you need to put your grommet on this side, but your grommet's too big, it doesn't fit, and you're like, what do I do? This tool that you have to cut your hole in expands from the top down. The width of it gets larger as it goes down. So a way that you can do it is go in from the front, put your tool in it, and you will spin this tool as you push it through that hole that you already made. You can also kind of go like this a little bit, and it helps expand the hole as it goes down further on that neck, because that neck gets wider and bigger. So I like to wiggle it a little bit as I put it in there, and then you take it out, and you put your grommet in. And then your grommet should go in just like that. But here's where your problem lies. A lot of people are like, how am I supposed to set that? I can't set that. It doesn't have enough room. And this is the importance about knowing what grommets you can and cannot use for your project. If you have a crocodile, a lot of these will work just fine if you're using a crocodile, because you can put it in. But if you don't have a crocodile and you have all these little tools, you're finding that your neck of your grommet is not coming up very tall. Or, let me take that one out, you're finding that you can't see it at all because it doesn't come out. If your neck is too short for your project, it will not work. So a good way of doing that is to just put your grommet right up to your thing like this and see if it's going to fit. This one I would not use because it is way too short. Now this one I would use. Even though it comes out just barely, there are ways you can set that grommet still. So one of the ways, because we are dealing with paper, and when you punch paper, it will push up. So because we're dealing with that, you can put an X-Acto knife right along the edge. Let's zoom in here so you can see. Right along the edge, and you just kind of go back and forth as you go around the edge of your project with your X-Acto knife. And what you're doing is you're just getting rid of that excess paper that's along the edge. You just go back and forth, and this does dull your X-Acto knives out quick, so just buy a bunch of blades. And we're just going to go back and forth and lift the paper out of there. Now, after you get a lot of that excess paper off of the neck of your grommet at the top. So now you can see the neck of your grommet sticking out rather than the paper coming up with it. Now you're just going to take the end of your tweezers and right on the edge push down on the paper, because the paper's been pushed up. So you want to push that back down so it gives you more room on the neck of your grommet. Don't push on your grommet. You don't want to squish the grommet down. So now you have more space for your grommet to be pushing up. And depending on how much space you have, you can put your washer on and set your grommet. Your grommet tool is important to keep note of. A lot of people use the grommet setting tools incorrectly. Now, you have these that this one has a little nub, this one's flat. If you look at this one's just a circle ring, and then if you look at this, the inside, it has different widths to it. You look at this one, it has a tiny little nub right there as well. So, knowing how to set your grommets is important. So, your nub end of your pliers, or any nub end that you have, is going to go inside the neck of your grommet. So you want your nub to just see the little nub at the top of the pliers? You want that nub right inside that grommet, like that. You want the other side flush against your grommet, and then you just apply pressure. Press down and apply pressure. And you will see that the neck has curled over your washer, and you've set your grommet. I like to go in with my hammer around the edge and flatten those little pieces out from the neck to make sure that it's flush, so nobody cuts themselves on them, because they can be pretty sharp. And then you've set your grommet. Nice, flush, and it looks good. Now, these. Some people have these, and they have zero idea how to use them. So, these grommets do not have the teeth at the top of the neck. They will not work in a crocodile. They will just get crushed and squished, as far as I know. I've not tried that yet, but I have talked to people about grommet setting. Anyways, smaller grommets and bigger grommets, if you're not using it on chipboard, you can just punch your hole out with a hole punch, regular hole punch, set your grommet in. And this little tool right here, if you have one of these that you set this on top of, a lot of people don't know how to use them. You put your grommet in like that, and then you flip this upside down. So you want the neck sticking out. Where is the washer? And you get your little ring washer, if it came with a ring washer. And your ring washer is shaped rounded on one end, so you want the rounded part on the top. You want it to go like that on the top part. So you set your washer in, you put this on top, and you hammer it down. And you'll feel when it is set. If you keep on hammering too long, you will destroy your grommet. There is a lot of different ways of setting a grommet. Basically, it is however it's going to curl those teeth properly. So your tool is set up a specific way to make those teeth curl, and they have curves. So when that metal gets hit, it will smash it and curve as it smashes around your grommet. But anyways, so all of your grommet setting tools can look a little different, but they all function pretty much the same. If you are smashing your grommets, it is most likely the tool that you're using. So these little ones, you can set those using this other grommet tool that I have. So you punch a hole, put your little eyelet or grommet, whatever you want to call it, it does not matter, in your little thing, and then you take your little tiny tool that has this little nub on the end, you put it right there on top of the neck, put the nub inside the neck, and then you hammer until you get it down. And what that does is it splays all of your things outward, so now you have your grommet set in your paper. So those are little tips if you are having issues setting your grommets. Not all grommets come with the little washers. Some are just the grommet, and that's it, and it'll just splay onto your paper like that. A good thing to have is a little hammer, whether you're using a crocodile or not, because these little splays, when they splay outward, can sometimes stick up, and they are very, very sharp. A lot of times these are, they can cut your finger, and it's not good. I don't like that. I like this safety, so I go around and just flatten them out a bit, not too hard. You don't want to damage your grommet on the front. But anyways, so those are some tips and tricks to kind of help you out using your grommet. If it is smashing your grommets, change the way you have it on there. If you're using this tool and you're putting your grommet this way, it is not going to work properly. Because of the shape of the steel in the way it's made for your grommet. But anyways, I hope that helps some in setting grommets properly and making sure you have the proper grommets for the proper tool. Not all grommets are the same. Not all are going to work on a specific tool the same. And that's it. I hope that helps. Have a great day and a happy cutting.